Hello viewers, and welcome to the third and final scenario of the Khazad-dûm Deluxe Expansion. This quest is Flight from Moria, and this is another installment in the LOTR LCG progression series, a production by Cardboard of the Rings, the bi-weekly podcast about the Lord of the Rings the card game, which is a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. This is Mitch, and joining me as always is Matthew.
Hi there.
So, Matthew, why don't you go ahead and catch us up to speed on where we left off in our story?
After examining the book of Nazgul in our last quest, our heroes have learned that Balin's colony ended in death and darkness, and after paying their respects at his tomb, the heroes fought their way out of the goblin-infested 7th level and made their way down toward the gate. But exiting Moria will not be easy, for a shadowy form masses at the end of the hall, and fear and terror go before it. Our heroes must escape Moria before it's too late.
So that about says it. In this scenario, it's going to be a little bit of a race against time to finish this as quickly as possible. Something that's very unique about this quest is we have one giant looming antagonist sitting here in the staging area, which is the Nameless Fear. So this has an X threat, X attack, and X defense. It's entirely immune to player card effects. The 50 engagement cost means it's going to be just sitting here in the staging area indefinitely, since it cannot engage or be engaged, and that X value is determined by the number of victory points we have in our display. So our goal here is to get out as quickly as possible, accumulating as few victory points as we can possibly manage. So before we go into any more depth regarding the mechanics unique to this scenario, why don't we go ahead and take a look at both of our player decks. So my deck for this quest, I'm going for something a little bit more ambitious than what I did in our prior two Khazad-dûm scenarios. I'm using heroes from 3 different spheres. Dane is representing leadership, along with a smattering of events, some card draw effects, some stat bolstering effects, but he's definitely going to be putting his ability to massive use. I've got Frodo Baggins, which gives me access to a lot of different cancellation effects, some card draw, and importantly, I've got Barivore to really maximize my card draw, include some resource fixing effects, and give me access to a lot of powerful dwarf characters. I'm definitely going to be looking to put Erebor Record Keeper and Unexpected Courage to good use in this deck, because once we come across a specific objective in the encounter deck, it's going to be up to us to use that as many times as humanly possible before we have to swap out our quest card and lose any hope of winning this scenario here. But with that said, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on what to expect from your deck, Matthew?
Maybe we're expecting to use that objective as many times as dwarvenly possible. But with that said, my deck is almost identical to the first 2 playthroughs. So unlike Mitch, I didn't deviate too much. In fact, the only change is I took out Forest Snare, because there aren't too many big baddies that would be eligible for, and I put in Lorien's Wealth for some extra card draw. Otherwise, you can expect pretty much the same thing from me.
Well, with that said, why don't we go ahead and make sure our decks are shuffled and draw our opening hand of 6 cards. So let's see what I get. And this hand is alright. I might regret this, but I'm going to go ahead and take a mulligan, really wanting that resource acceleration. But what was your opening hand like?
Interesting hand. I think that I'm going to hold on to it.
And fortunately, I'm very happy with my mulligan, so thank goodness. I suppose, shall we go ahead and make myself first player?
Yep.
Alright, so before we go ahead and start our first turn, why don't we go ahead and take care of that setup portion of this scenario. So, taking a look at Quest Phase 1A, it reads Prepare the Quest Deck. So, something very special about this scenario is there's going to be 7 different versions of the Quest Phase 2, and periodically we're going to be drawing different copies. So there's going to be 2 options that are ways for us to beat this scenario. There's going to be some that are hindrances, some that are a little bit beneficial, but we'll get to that just throughout the course of the quest. We add the nameless sphere to the staging area, as we've already done, and we remove all 4 copies of a treachery called a Foe Beyond from the encounter deck. Then we shuffle 1 copy per player back into the encounter deck. So before we shuffle these 2 copies in, a Foe Beyond has a when revealed effect where the last player deals damage equal to the nameless sphere's attack strength to a hero he controls, and this effect cannot be cancelled. So even this shiny little spirit event sitting in my hand is not going to be of any use to me. There's also a nasty shadow effect here, but fortunately that can be cancelled. So we're going to go ahead and put those in our encounter deck, shuffle that up, and we're going to go ahead and move on to Quest Phase 1B. This has your standard When Revealed effect, where it's reveal 1 encounter card per player and add it to the staging area. Then we add this quest card to our victory display. It's worth 2 points, so from the very beginning of the game, that nameless sphere is going to have a threat, attack, and defense strength of 2. So let's go ahead and see what encounter cards we start with in the staging area. Card number 1 is going to be the Mountain's Roots, so a 2-threat, 2-progress token location, not too offensive here. The second card is going to be a New Devilry, so when revealed, if the players are not on stage 1, unfortunately we are, it says this gains Surge, but the more of these that are in our discard pile, the better that's going to be. So let's go ahead and put that in our discard pile and replace it with a Sudden Pitfall. So this is fantastic. This is when revealed, the first player must discard 1 questing character he controls if able. This effect cannot be cancelled. Right now there are no characters committed to the quest. If this would have been even a single card lower in the encounter deck, this would have cost me a hero on the first turn. So I do not mind seeing this go at all. So before we go ahead and get started, let's actually go ahead and Control V to add this A Presence in the Dark to our victory display. I'll make sure we count those 2 victory points there. And we're actually going to go ahead and put 2 resource tokens on this nameless sphere, just to give Matthew and I a little bit of a visual reference to know exactly what its threat, attack, and defense values are at a glance. And the last thing for us to do is to progress to Quest Phase 2A. And what's important to keep in mind is this reads, while Search for an Exit is the active quest card, we only flip it to side 2B at the beginning of the staging step. So we won't actually know which of these 7 different quest cards we have to go up against until we've already committed characters to the quest, and our goal here is going to be committing enough willpower to overcome the threat in the staging area, but not so much that we complete the quest card and add it to our victory display, just because that bolsters the nameless sphere even further. But that was a little bit of a mouthful, so should we finally go ahead and start our very first round?
Yep.
Alright, so let's add 1 resource to all of our characters. Draw a card. Oh my goodness, my hand is ridiculous. I've got 2 copies of a certain spirit attachment to throw around. So let's see. I think for my very first turn, I'm not going to do anything.
Okay, I'm running into a very similar problem that we had in earlier videos where my hand is almost entirely of a certain sphere, and I have 1 lone hero for that sphere. But the first card I'm going to play is an Erebor Record Keeper, and then I am also going to play a Song of Battle and put that on Biffer.
Fantastic. I
Yep.
guess something to keep in mind is if you can keep your record keeper alive long enough with the 2 attachments I've got in my hand, that would be sufficient to give 1 dwarf character the 4 actions in 1 refresh phase required to pass one of these quest cards. So fantastic start. But we're not quite there yet. So for questing, we're going to be up against 4. What do we want to commit? I can definitely do Frodo. Barivore I could do, but, you know, that's also pretty potent card draw. What are you thinking about sending?
I mean, I could do 7.
Okay, so 9 to me sounds pretty reasonable. So shall
Okay.
I leave Barivore open?
Sure.
Okay, so Barivore, Gimli, and Dane are good to go. So, let's go ahead and skip on to staging. So we reveal our very first quest card, 2B, and that is Heading Up. So this says, if heading down is in the player's victory display at the end of any quest phase, shuffle heading down back into the quest deck. And we can bypass this quest card, which means putting it at the bottom of the quest deck at the end of the combat phase.
If we remember.
Yes, that is the key. So let's see here. For staging, card number 1 is A Dark and Dreadful. So this is deal 1 damage to each exhausted character, 2 damage instead if the active location is a dark location. I can cancel this effect.
It would kill my record keeper. So, yeah. I mean, it's up to you. Thalon and Biffer, of course, would survive. I do have a healing ally in my hand, though it's going to take a few turns for her to be able to come out. So it's just a matter of, do we want to keep this record keeper on the table?
I'm thinking that since we've already gotten rid of that nasty sudden pitfall, I do want to get rid of this effect. So maybe I'll regret this later on if we get an untimely, new devilry, but pay 1 resource from Frodo, a test of will. So let's get these off the table. Staging, card number 2 is A Massing in the Deep. So this is, first of all, Doomed 1, so we've got to boost up our threats, and this is reveal 2 additional encounter cards from the deck and add them to the staging area. So, starting over, card number 1 is another Massing in the Deep, so Doomed 1 right away. And now we've got to go ahead and reveal a total of 3 additional cards. So card number 1 is a Goblin Archer. Fortunately, Thalon is currently committed to the quest, so it is going to automatically take 1 damage and be killed despite its 3 defense. So that was a softball from the encounter deck there. Card number 2 is a Chance Encounter. So this says, put the top enemy in the encounter discard pile into play, engaged with the first player. If this effect put no enemies into play, it gains Surge. So this is going to actually put Goblin Archer in play with me, which is funny since it has an engagement cost of 48. But, of course, this says, after an enemy is revealed from the encounter deck, the first player has to deal 1 damage to 1 character he controls. So, let's get rid of that Chance Encounter. And our final quest encounter card is going to be a Fouled Well. So, unless we each randomly discard a card, and that prospect is really frightening to me, we have to let it gain Surge. We're currently up against 7 threats.
I don't care either way.
Things could go terribly for me if I lose a certain card.
Okay, well then, let's Surge.
Alright, so maybe we'll regret this, but it surges to a Stray Goblin. So not that bad. It takes 1 damage from Thalon. It's a 2-threat enemy. So it looks like we're going to be up against 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threat. We've gone ahead and committed a total of 9 willpower to the quest, so we break even, no progress tokens on heading up. So we'll probably end up bypassing this at the end of our quest phase, but for travel, we've got Fouled Well and we have the mountain's roots. I suppose, shall we travel to this Fouled Well with its 3 threat? Alright, Control A, make that active location. Stray Goblin is going to come down and attack me unless you can help me out here.
Yeah, sure, I can defend against that.
Alright, so you'll optionally engage that. And for combat, let's go ahead and deal some shadow cards. So first to me, and second to the Stray Goblin. And I guess we actually forgot to trigger this Goblin Archer's effect. So the first player has to deal 1 damage to a character he controls. I'm going to go ahead and put that damage on, I guess, Frodo? And this will have taken place during the quest phase. So Frodo's ability is now ready during the combat phase here. So dealing with this Goblin Archer's attack, I guess let's talk things out here. So I would have to attack with both of my characters to be able to kill this archer. Then what about your guy?
Oh, well, I can't do much, so I'm just going to defend with Gimli.
Okay. So that's going to be nasty just because there's going to be a lot of enemies in play with us. I guess you could risk doing it undefended, but I don't have a shadow card eliminator, and that could be really nasty. So,
yeah.
Alright, so let's just play it safe, I guess. This goblin archer that's attacking me, I am going to do its attack undefended. And there is no shadow card, so I'm going to go ahead and put 1 damage on Barivore. And for your guy, the stray goblin, you want to defend with Gimli?
Mm-hmm.
Shadow card is nothing, a dreadful gap. So that's gone, and Gimli takes no damage. For me, I definitely could kill the archer. We're not going to gain the 2 cards from Barivore, but I think I want to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and deal a total of 4 damage and kill that goblin archer. So,
okay.
Alright, and I suppose that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so at the end of combat, we're going to go ahead and bypass our current quest card. So we'll put that at the bottom of the quest deck. Let's go ahead and refresh, which boosts our threat up by 1. I'll go ahead and make you the first player, and let's draw a card and do our resources.
I cannot play a single thing.
Alright, well, for me, I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 from Dane Ironfoot, and I'll do a Steward of Gondor on Barivore. I'm going to go ahead and trigger that right away to add 2 resources to her pool. I'll pay 1 off of Frodo for a Song of Travel on Barivore. Let me arrange my attachments there. And I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 resources right away for an Unexpected Courage on Gimli. And here's the trick. I've got another copy of Unexpected Courage. Do you think I should throw that on Gimli right away so he can maybe quest, defend, and attack? Or, just do ridiculous attacking duty?
So I guess that you don't have any cancellation cards in your hand?
Unfortunately
you need to save
not.
Resources for? I mean, it's going to be hard for me to kill this dude, because Gimli doesn't have enough unless 1 damage
I guess
sneaks through.
With Dane ready, that'll boost him up to be enough to kill him.
Oh, right, it would. I don't know if it's necessary to put it on him right away, but
Well, let's see. I guess we do need to make a little bit of questing progress this turn, so why don't I just do that? I'll do a second Unexpected Courage on Gimli.
Okay.
So, alright. So, let's see. I suppose, shall we go ahead and do questing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will commit Frodo like last time.
Well, I'm first player full. Slow your roll.
That's right.
So, Thalon, of course, that's a no-brainer to deal with any sort of enemies. I mean, I could send the whole team, but I'm not sure, that would be a lot, and that might mean we bypass the quest stage, which makes the Nameless Fear even greater.
Well, so we're up against 4 currently, and we've got that active location that's absorbing 5.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot it was 5. I was thinking in my head it was 3, but that's its threat. Yeah, then I'll just send... this dude can't defend anyway. Yeah. Oops, let me take control of these.
Sure.
Unexpected.
So you're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll go ahead and just do Frodo to make it 12, and hopefully Barivore is going to result in some card draw this turn.
Yeah, I could certainly use some, unless you're dying for it.
Oh, it could probably go either way. I know I've got, well, I guess we'll see what comes off the encounter deck. So, At the beginning of staging, we have to do a new quest card. So, the new quest card is a Blocked by Shadow. So, when revealed, the first player, you, chooses one of the following. Each player discards a card from the top of the encounter deck. If that card is a treachery card, the discarding player is eliminated from the game. Or, we reveal the next quest card, putting this one at the bottom of the quest deck.
As fun as it would be to be risky, let's just put it on the bottom.
Yeah, so this is one of 2 ways we have to win the game. I think this quest deck is something like over 50% treachery, so that just sounds like way too much of a risk. It's going to be replaced by the quest card a wrong turn. So when revealed, we reveal 1 encounter card per player and add it to the staging area. So card number 1, prior to staging, is...
And it was a
New
treachery.
Devilry. Yes,
Yeah.
so this would have been 1 player eliminated from the game. We're going to shuffle our current quest card into the quest deck and reveal another one.
Oh, I don't mind seeing that one go.
Yeah, so wrong turn goes back down there. We shuffle it in. We reveal another one as soon as it's done shuffling. The replacement quest card is a wrong turn. Okay, so at this point, we've got to reveal a total of 5 cards. So 1 from the other wrong turn, 2 for staging, 2 additional now. So that's pretty miserable. So card number 1 is a Cave-Ins. Remove all progress tokens from the current quest card in active location. If none, it gains Surge, so it does Surge. But that would have been another player eliminated from the game, so we'd have just both died. So card number 1 of 5 is Goblin Spearman. It takes 1 point of damage from Thalon. Now I'm glad Gimli's got all the unexpected courage. Okay, so card number 2 is another Goblin Spearman. Now I'm a little afraid. Card number 3 is a Cave-In, which surges. Card number 3 is a Goblin Archer, which is automatically killed. Card number 4 is a Chance Encounter. Oh my god.
Good grief.
Okay, so first player is you this time.
Yep.
So Goblin Archer, sitting here in play with you. So our 5th and final encounter card is a third Goblin Spearman. Alright, well, I am definitely wishing I could do a Sneak Attack Longbeard Orc Slayer, but those are not even in my deck at this point. So, there are not a ton of enemies in this encounter deck, but you could have fooled me. I guess we're up against a total of 10 threat, which means we're going to make 2 progress. So this is looking pretty grim.
Yeah.
So for travel, we can't do anything.
Yeah, I sort of wish I hadn't sent Gimli to the quest, but that's, of course, in hindsight.
Right. So for engagement, let's see here. I guess Goblin Spearman. How can we deal with these? I can defend against 2 and potentially do like an undefended. I can do, let's say, well, a couple allies next turn to defend again.
Okay.
But, realistically, I suppose Gimli can only do so much.
Right. So, yeah, you optionally engage 1. I won't optional. Then I take 1, then you take the other. So...
Okay. So I guess let's break it down like this. Let's do our shadow cards. Oh, starting with you, actually. So, highest engagement is going to be the Goblin Archer, and then the Stray Goblin, and then the Spearman, and then my Spearman.
So, before we sort of move on, we did forget or sort of delay putting on a damage for the Goblin Archer, because we did reveal 1 extra Spearman. So that's going to make Gimli attack for a little bit more, which in a funky way I'm not so sad to have happen. Okay, so luckily I have a few tricks up my sleeve. So the first thing I'm going to do is pay for a Quick Strike.
Okay.
And I'm going to Quick Strike with Gimli, the Goblin Spearman.
Okay. So, this Spearman, and Gimli's going to be swinging for a total of 4 because of Dane here and his damage token. So, that Spearman is going to be killed, and its shadow card is discarded with no effect, and it would have been Raise Your Threat by the Nameless Fear's threat if the attack is undefended. So, probably wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
Yep, and then I'm going to do an undefended attack for the Goblin Archer and hope for the best.
Alright, so here's hoping. If the defending character is an ally, discard it from play. Perfect.
Not too bad.
Just assign 1 point of damage to one of your characters.
And I'm just going to do Gimli.
Alright.
And then
It's a stray
I'm going
goblin.
to... I'm going to play Feint.
Okay. Cool.
And I will feint the Stray Goblin.
Alright, so its shadow card is going to end up getting discarded with no effect, so let's just do it now to clear the table. And it wouldn't have had any effect anyway, so let's get rid of that. So now I've got to do my defenses. I'm going to go ahead and have Dane defend against this Goblin Spearman. And the attack is attacking enemy gets +1, +3 if engaged with the first player.
Thank God I didn't get that one.
Right, so it ends up getting 3 attack, 3 defense, nullifies that. Nothing happens. Barivore is going to have to defend for me as well. The shadow card is deal 1 damage to the defending character. So she's 2 damage. And then 2 attack, 2 defense. Nothing worse. So, man, this could have been a lot worse, but we're not out of the woods yet. So what do you want to do with Gimli there?
Yep, Gimli will attack... What's he swinging for? 4? He will attack the Goblin Archer.
Alright, so Goblin Archer is also going to be killed.
Don't want to deal with that forced effect anymore.
Yeah. So, I guess at the present moment, we're going to go ahead and move on to...
well, do we want to bypass the wrong turn?
Because it'll add it to the bottom of the quest phase. God. Yes, I don't think any of the other ones can really be bad, necessarily. I don't think there are any more that, reveal additional cards anyway.
Right. Well, we don't want to add 2 more to the Nameless Sphere, I don't think, if we can avoid it.
Right. So, at this point, we just have to figure out a way that we can eventually get rid of these goddamn Goblin Spearmans from my side of the table. Maybe if you have vassals or...
Nope. So, hopefully you have some allies you can play.
Yeah, well...
I have, much to my problem last video, I have a wealth of lore cards and no ability to pay for them. So, nothing is coming out for me for quite a while, unless I get some good card drops. So,
okay.
It's going to be all you.
Well, so at the end of combat here, shall we bypass this quest phase?
Yep.
Alright, so we'll put it at the bottom of the quest deck there, and I guess refresh. So,
yeah.
And if you would make me the first player, I'll draw a card. Oh, and it was worthless. Do my resources. And for me, okay, so this turn, I can do 1 ally that can return attachments from your discard pile to your hand. Do you have any?
Nope. Faint and Quick Strike.
Alright. Well, I definitely need some bodies to soak up damage, if nothing else. So I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 resources from Barivore for an Erebor Hammersmith. And I don't have any attachments myself, so it's not going to be doing a whole lot. I can certainly throw you a resource.
That would be fantastic.
In the interest of just, giving us a fighting chance against this, I've got another Hammersmith in my hand that I could sneak attack into play, and then my other card is just another copy of the Gondor attachment, so...
Okay.
I suppose I'll strip a resource off Frodo to throw to Biffer.
Okay.
So, that's all for me.
Okay. First card I'm going to play is a Veteran Axe Hand.
Thank
So
goodness.
luckily I drew that. And the next card is Daughter of the Nimrodel.
Okay.
And do you want me to go ahead and just use her now to heal Barivore?
Well, I'm almost thinking...
Or wait until we see the exhausted effects from the encounter deck?
Yeah, I guess let's wait and see what comes off. I'm thinking we might end up wanting to use that. Well, I guess Gimli is relying on that damage to bolster him up. So let's just see what comes off the encounter deck. Both copies of Dark and Dreadful are gone. I don't think there are any other direct damage effects.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll just be some locations or something stupid.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Questing.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I will send... God, I don't really want to send much of anybody. I'm going to have the 2 attacks to deal with.
I'll send 7.
Okay.
And we're only up against 4.
I suppose I'll send Frodo, and I'll end up... I wish any of my characters had an additional point of attack. You don't happen to have any...
Nope.
Damn. Alright, well, then I'm not going to be able to do anything with these spearmen myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
So I'll send... send my 7.
Alright, well, I suppose I will send 2, and we'll go for a total of 9.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so at the beginning of staging, let's go ahead and reveal our new quest card here. The card is... Narrow paths. So the way that this
Ah.
works is we each pick one questing character, and every other questing character does not count their willpower until the end of the turn. As soon as we get a point of progress on this one, then we can search for our abandoned tools, which is what is going to win us this scenario.
So let's see. Biffer will be the one that I keep sent to the quest, so I'm sending a whopping 3.
All right, and the only one I can pick is Frodo. So we're going to be having a total of 5. So unless we get some really merciful encounter cards, we're going to be gaining some threat here, and certainly not making much progress.
Nope.
So staging card number 1 is...
Hey, what do you know?
The abandoned tools. Wow, so this is great to see, but it is a guarded objective. So, the guarded card is a foe beyond. So when revealed, the last player, which is you, deals 2 damage to a hero he controls. I suppose your safest bet is, Biffer.
Well, I was going to do Gimli.
Yeah, but if you're going to be doing any defending with him, that gets so
Well,
risky.
I mean, the daughter of the Nimmerdale can just then strip it right off.
Unless we reveal something like a shadow card that's 1 damage, and then it's, immediate death.
Yeah, I suppose. I'll just put it on Fallon.
Okay. Alright, so Thalon takes that damage. We'll put a foe beyond here in the discard pile. The second card is Crumbling Ruin. So each player must exhaust a character and discard the top card of his deck if able. If the printed cost of the discarded card is equal to or higher than the remaining hit points, discard the exhausted character.
Alright. Well, I will do Veteran Axe Hand.
Okay, and I think I'm going to do my Erebor Hammersmith, just because this is a terrifying card. Oh my god.
So I got the axe.
And I get rid of my little Erebor record, Hammersmith goes away.
Well, I wish I had my Horn of Gondor out. I hate to lose my axe, but at least the Veteran Axe Hand survives.
Yeah. Well, and it's looking like Barivor might not be doing too much card drawing for us this game. So, at least we're done with staging. So the abandoned tools are now unclaimed. We are up against 4 threat. Shockingly, we are going to make 1 progress, but of course it's eaten up by our active location. But since we've already got narrow paths here, no big deal. So I suppose that leads us to travel, where we have no option. And
Let
then
me go ahead and just during the travel action window, I will exhaust Daughter of the Nimmerdale to heal Barivor just in case the defense goes awry or something.
Sure, that's kind of you. So, no engagements to be done, and that leads us to combat. So let's do our shadow cards, first player, and then last player. So, any tactics tricks in your hand?
Nope. Nothing but lore.
So, I'm sitting on a sneak attack, but I don't necessarily want to use it just to put another ally into play. I think I'm just going to do 2 defenses again.
Okay.
So let's have Dane do a defense. Shadow card is nothing.
Okay.
And no damage to Dane. Barivor does a defense. Shadow card is also nothing. The same card.
Another Plundered Armory.
Yeah.
Alright, well, Gimli will do the defense for me.
Okay. And shadow card is... Add Goblin Spearman to the staging area. Well, hopefully he'll take that next round.
Yep, and then Gimli will attack.
Alright, so Gimli swings back. He ends up dealing 6. The stray goblin is very killed. And then I guess he's readied with your unexpected courage, right?
Oh, right. I mean, I certainly can take the tools now if you want me to.
Might as well. So,
yep.
Alright, so let's go ahead and throw that down for you. And if you want to take control of that, what this is going to do is as soon as we get to a certain quest phase, we can start using resource actions to add progress tokens to that quest card. As soon as we amass 4, it's going to be gone. So now we just have to dig for that quest card. So, So at the
do we want to bypass this end of combat?
I'm thinking so.
Or quest thing. Yeah, sure.
So at the end of combat, let's go ahead and put that at the bottom of the encounter deck. Now we really need to get rid of this active location here. And I guess that's it. Shall we refresh?
Yep.
Okay, so refresh. And that does our threat for us. I'll go ahead and make you first player. Okay, you're first player. I'll draw a card. I'll do my resources. And, well, I guess I got a leadership card that'll help us quest.
Okay. If we need it.
Yeah, but what are you going to be doing?
I am going to be playing another Veteran Axe hand, and that is it.
Okay. So, before you finish on your planning, well, God. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 resources from Barivor. I'll do another Erebor Hammersmith. So at this point, I suppose you can return that Duro Delphax to your hand.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I
because
can't
your
play it,
planning is
too.
done, yeah, you can't help me, so I can't get rid of any of these goddamn spearmen.
Well, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have helped you anyway if I could. I could have put it on one of your people. I see.
Right,
Yeah,
like Dane
bummer.
or even this Erebor Hammersmith here. Let's see. I guess I'm not too worried about these little spearmen. I think at this point we've probably seen all of the ones that are in the encounter deck. I suppose I'll strip 2 resources off of Dane for a Calabrian Stone.
Okay.
I suppose I'll go ahead and put it on Biffer, because he's always going to be questing.
Yeah, okay.
And just in case we get another Narrow Paths, that would be helpful. So, I think I'm going to use Barivor to have myself draw 2 cards right now. I actually ended up getting a couple good allies here.
Okay.
I will spend 1 lore resource for an Erebor Record Keeper.
Okay.
So, I guess either of us at this point, if we end up getting that quest card, we can, basically give Gimli the 4 actions required to pass it as soon as this fouled well is gone.
Right.
So.
Or it's a way for you to ready Dane to maybe deal with one of your enemies.
Right, that's actually an excellent point. So why don't I go ahead and keep mine back as opposed to yours? But with that said, I guess questing, who are you going to send?
So I will send, let's see, 2, 3, 4, or he's 5 all by himself, huh? So 5, I'll send 7 for sure.
Okay.
And then, so I'll send those 7, and then I'll send Gimli and then ready him for an additional 3,
Okay.
so I'm sending 10.
All right.
I'm going to hold back on my Record Keeper just in case, because what could happen is you could defend with Dane, ready him with your Record Keeper, then defend again, and then I could ready him with my Record Keeper, and then you'd at least be able to kill one of the spearmen as long as he attacks with his Hammersmith or something.
Right, and that would, get rid of one of these guys, so that would be fantastic, actually. You're sending a total of 10. I guess I'm going to send Frodo, just because I really want to get rid of this stupid fouled well. So
yeah.
So now that we're done committing characters to the quest, let's go ahead and see what quest card we reveal. And it is a Hasty Council. So this is shuffle all copies of a Foe Beyond from the encounter discard pile back into the encounter deck, reveal the top 2 cards of the quest deck, choose one to become the active quest, and put the other on the bottom, then add this quest card to our victory display. So this is a little bit complicated, but let's go ahead and look at the top cards of our discard pile.
Well, do we first have any copies of Foe Beyond in the discard? Oh, that's
we just had 1. So now there's going to be 2 cards out of the 18 are a Foe Beyond. And that would be... I guess it's good that I'm the last player right now, but until you get Citadel Plate, that's awfully frightening if you pull it. So now that we've shuffled those back into the encounter deck, we reveal those top 2 quest cards. So here are our options. We can pick either one of these, and I guess, let's see, we can pick Blocked by Shadow, and then do a replacement one, and we'll have 1 of 4 chances to get the desirable quest card.
Sure.
Or we can just do this heading up.
Yeah, let's do Blocked by Shadow, I guess.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make Blocked by Shadow the active quest card. Let's put Heading Up at the bottom of our quest deck, and then let's go ahead and add Hasty Council to our victory display. So at this point, the Nameless Fear has 4 resources on him to represent our 4 victory points, so that foe beyond is getting lethal very quickly. And the odds of running into that card is almost, well, it's getting really, really, really good.
Yeah.
But we've got this win revealed, so the first player chooses one of the following. Either do the whole discard card from the top of the encounter deck, or reveal the next quest card.
Let's reveal the next quest card.
Alright, so put that at the bottom of the deck. Reveal next quest card, which is... Praise be to the dwarf god. This is Escape from Darkness. So long as we do not draw a new devilry which steals this from us, we are going to be able to hopefully finish this quest card at the end of our refresh phase. But without going into all the details, because this might be stolen from us, let's go ahead and just do staging. So, 12 committed to the quest. What do we get? Card number 1 is a Stray Goblin. Takes 1 damage from Thalon. Card number 2 is a Shadow of Fear. So the first player, which is you, attaches this to one of his heroes, counts as a condition attachment. Limit 1 per hero. Attached hero cannot exhaust already, and its text box is treated as if it were blank. You can pay 3 resources to get rid of it. I'm just going to set this down here.
Yeah, let's put it, I'm going to put it on, I'll take control, and I'm going to put it on Thalon.
Okay, so our thoughts here are we've currently got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 threat that we're against. We're going to make 2 progress, which gets rid of our active location, which is just perfect timing.
Yeah.
Presently, the abandoned tools that Gimli has gains an ability called Refresh Action, so it's only during the refresh phase after we've refreshed all of our characters, but before we collect resources, exhaust attached hero to put a progress token on Escape from Darkness. So Gimli can do this once, twice for Unexpected Courage, 3rd for Unexpected Courage, and a 4th time for that Erebor Record Keeper, either mine or yours. So we are guaranteed to win the game during our refresh phase, so long as these enemies don't absolutely obliterate us.
Right.
So let's just survive is the most important thing here.
Yep.
So for travel, there's a little bit of ambiguity within the rules here, so it would be smart to travel to this with the mountain's roots, but because our quest card says exhaust attached hero, you know, the hero that owns the abandoned tools, to put a progress token on Escape from Darkness, without taking the time to do the Google search and look up the rules question here, we're not sure if the active location would buffer and absorb these progress tokens. So let us know in the comments below what your opinion is, but just to be better safe than sorry, to guarantee our victory, fingers crossed, we'll go ahead and just skip making a location active. But for engagement, what do we want to do here?
Well, both these enemies come down, the Goblin Spearman and the Stray Goblin.
Right.
I left my Veteran Axe Hands up, so...
And between the 2 of us, we only need to save 1 resource for Erebor Record Keeper. I guess right away, I'm going to spend 1 resource on Frodo and throw a resource to Biffer.
Okay.
So, just to help us out there. What do we want to do? I guess you've got good allies that can just defend.
Right, yeah, I mean... I'm first player, right? So I get optionally engage 1, and then I would get the other one. So I don't mind taking the 2 of them.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and put those down in front of you. So let's go ahead and begin combat. So our shadow cards, starting with first player, Stray Goblin, Goblin Spearman, Goblin Spearman, Goblin Spearman.
I am just going to defend both, and I'll tap them both now. It doesn't matter which, with my Veteran Axe Hands.
Alright, so the Spearman gets... no shadow effect. The axe hand is going to take 1 damage, so it's not even killed. The Stray Goblin... wow, okay, so no shadow effect, and this is one of those great cave trolls, the big nasty enemy that we're not going to have to deal with, so... And your other axe hand also takes a point of damage. Let's see. I guess there's not any reason to... use your daughter at this point. You were lucky enough to avoid pulling a foe beyond.
Right.
So this goblin spearman, I guess let's do what we were originally planning. So Dane will defend. Okay, well, speaking of a foe beyond, deal damage equal to the Nameless Sphere's attack strength to the defending character.
He survives.
Right, so that's going to be 4 points of damage, which is just dreadful, but Dane makes it. The 2 damage, or the 2 attack doesn't overcome his defense, but now I'm feeling a little bit hesitant to defend with Dane again.
No, I'm just defend with the Hammersmith. We don't need to kill them.
Right, so I wanted to feel like a man, but I guess not.
Right.
The other shadow card is nothing, so
yep.
The Hammersmith is going to end up taking 1 point of damage. I suppose we could both spend a resource and ready Dane and my Hammersmith to kill one.
We could.
Yeah, why don't we do that, just for fun?
Sure.
Alright, so you could strip one off Biffer. I'll exhaust my Record Keeper to target Dane. You can exhaust yours to target the Hammersmith. And how do you want to deal with your attacks?
So let's see. I've got 2 actions left with Gimli, and he can kill both of them, right? He's swinging for 4. So then, that's what I'll do.
Alright, so Gimli swings, kills the Spearman. Gimli swings, kills the Stray Goblin. If you want, you could use your daughter on...
Yeah, I was, and I was just going to heal Fallon.
Alright.
Well, not that I wouldn't heal Dane, but if we got... we're not going to, but if we got another foe from beyond, it's not like... it would be me, and it's not like Dane would survive anyway.
Yeah. Alright. Yes,
Whoops, I just took off a resource by accident. I always do that. So no, it has nothing to do with me being stingy, just Dane would still die.
Alright, so I guess it's my turn to attack. I'm going to go ahead and have the Hammersmith and Dane team up, and they're going to combine for 3 attack strength, which is going to be able to deal the 1 point of damage necessary to kill this Spearman. That is our combat. Shall we bypass our current quest phase?
Nope.
Alright, so let's go ahead and do refresh. And the way that this works is the refresh phase is you refresh all your characters, you do your threat, you pass the first player token, and we now have the opportunity for refresh actions before the resource phase. So, now is your moment to shine.
Alright, so I can put a progress token per exhaustion of Gimli, so I'll exhaust him once.
Alright.
Put a progress token.
So there's the first.
I will exhaust Unexpected Courage to ready him again, and then I will exhaust him again.
Alright. Token 2.
And then I'll exhaust Unexpected Courage to ready him, and then exhaust him again.
Token 3.
Now, am I able to use the Daughter of the Nimberdale now? Like, is there an action window to heal 2 more?
Yeah, we're using the action window currently, so...
Alright, so then I will exhaust her to heal 2 off of Dane. I don't care about score, but why not?
Sure, alright.
And then finally, I will spend a lore resource to use my action on my Erebor Record Keeper, and I have to exhaust him to ready Gimli, to then... use the abandoned tools once again.
Alright, and that makes 4 out of 4 progress tokens. So, at the present moment, we have all the progress tokens. We've satisfied the victory conditions of Escape from Darkness. So, at this point, we have finished Flight from Moria. So, Matthew, any thoughts about this incredible playthrough of our 3rd scenario here?
Right, so I think I've mentioned a few times in our progression series that, I played a lot when this game first came out, and then I had sort of a lull. It's sort of my lulls and my ebbs and flows sort of come with, how busy I am during the school semester. And so I played a lot in the summer, then the school semester hits and I slow down, and then I would play a lot. And so, I pretty much would just one-shot, play a quest until I could beat it and move on. So all of these Khazad-dûm quests were sort of fuzzy in my memory, and I think I was sort of, viewing the past of these with rose-colored glasses or something. I remember them being way more fun than they were in our playthroughs. And maybe we just got lucky with those first 2 because they were over in like a split second. But, I have to say that in many ways, I sort of think the mechanics of some of the Shadows of Mirkwood quests were more fun. There was nothing really all that... it's certainly interesting to have the varied quest steps here for Stage 2B, but it can be kind of annoying. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be, I mean, I hate being mean towards the game, and I know I'm not being mean, but I have to say that I didn't particularly enjoy any of these three quests. Much unlike, Conflict of the Carrick, I still personally like Nazgul Bell. Even though the Dead Marshes in Return to Mirkwood have some annoying qualities to them, I still found the games more tense. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this card? What's the next treachery going to be? Whereas this, while there certainly are nasty treacheries, I didn't have those tense feelings that I really did during Shadow of Mirkwood. So, as far as replayability or fun value, I think the player cards are fantastic in this deluxe expansion. The quest, though, to me, a little bit of a letdown.
That's interesting. I guess I didn't have an entirely opposite experience. I mean, I definitely enjoyed Shadows of Mirkwood. When we did our video for Into the Pit, I thought it was actually pretty fun. I think maybe one of the big problems here is it's just so easy to design decks to really abuse some of the mechanics that Khazad-dûm takes advantage of. So if enemies get out of control, which we started to see in this final scenario here, I mean, the encounter deck was something like 45, 46 cards. Only 5 copies of Goblin Spearmen were in this deck. There's no Goblin Swordsman, but yet these Goblin Spearmen were able to replicate themselves. During our playthrough of, I think, Into the Pit, at some point I did like a back-to-back play of the Longbeard Orc Slayer, and because almost every orc in this adventure pack, or in this deluxe box, has 2 hit points, you're just able to clear the table. So if you were, playing a 4-player game, who knows how many enemies you can kill. I mean, Thalon makes enemies like Goblin Archer a joke. I thought this was actually a pretty difficult playthrough of Flight from Moria here. I've definitely had much easier experiences with this one. I think this one's a pretty clever mechanic. I certainly have never had to reveal this many encounter cards before, so overall, I think the 7th level can be immensely hard. Sometimes it's not too bad. I think this one can be not necessarily immensely hard, but the encounter deck can definitely get in those cheap shots in the early game that just cripples any chance the players have of victory. So I enjoyed this playthrough. I was a little bit let down that the 7th level video in particular was something like a 25 minutes, just over before it finishes thing, but
Over before it begins.
Right, exactly. So all in all, I did enjoy Khazad-dûm, but I'm excited to start off the Dwerodelph cycle of adventure packs.
Yeah, and certainly having the 2 unexpected courages is sort of cheap in a sense, because otherwise we would have had to wait 4 turns if we didn't have unexpected courage or the Erebor record keepers to sort of get through this, and who knows what would have happened during the next 4, getting the next 4 refresh phases. With so few cards left in the encounter deck, we could have gotten that treachery that would change the active quest card, which would have been frustrating. And we didn't get to battle the fun cave troll as much as I think that might have been exciting. And maybe, again, my perception is colored a little bit with our progression series videos, because we did win that second quest so quickly. We never did really experience a swarm of goblins. So yeah, overall, Khazad-dûm was fun. I probably would replay them. I'm not saying I wouldn't, unlike Hills of Em and Wheel, which, never have a desire for that, to replay that. But, yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to the upcoming cycle and playing through those quests.
So, I think that about says it. Thank you guys so much for checking out yet another video in the progression series. Luckily, we were able to pull off this victory. Up next is going to be our player and hero card review for the first of our Dwerodelph adventure packs, which is the Red Horn Gate. So be sure to check that out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button or subscribe to this channel. I mentioned before, but be sure to let us know in the comments below how this scenario, or really any of the scenarios for Khazad-dûm, have gone for you, whether they were better or worse than what Matthew and I have experienced. But in any case, thank you guys so much for checking this out, and we'll see you again soon.